Hello, my name is Shelby. I'm going to be doing my Civic Persuasive speech on why we need to eliminate fentanyl prescriptions out of our community in order to decrease heroin overdoses. Take a moment and imagine an addict to heroin. I see a person that likely fell into a system and at one point was prescribed an opiate, and that led them to crave something even stronger, which led them to heroin. And see, opiates are extremely addictive, and they are very potent, especially now that a new one's come out. It's fentanyl. It's used in our hospitals to prescribe for extreme pain, but it's also used and is cut into heroin, which has caused me to lose 3 friends and many, many more in our community. So today I would like to talk about how much fentanyl is a risk and why it should be taken out of our hospitals and out of our community. To begin, I would like to talk about why we need to make a change. So I'd like to start with some statistics. The Fulton County Medical Examiner's report of 2014 stated there was 19 heroin overdoses in 2011. In 2014, there were 77. Of those in 2014, 23 were linked to fentanyl. And since then, the statistics have unfortunately increased. In 2015, the DEA listed a nationwide warning about heroin overdoses that are linked to fentanyl and that they are occurring at an alarming rate in the United States. And they posed that it's a significant threat to the public health and safety of our country. They went on to further explain that fentanyl is 100 times more potent than morphine. It's 30 to 50 times more potent than heroin. So you can imagine, when laced with heroin, it's absolutely deadly. So I can assure you that there is a link between heroin overdoses and fentanyl, a drug which is prescribed to citizens in our community. Now that we understand the risks and understand the harm of fentanyl and the increase in overdoses, we can discuss how we can satisfy this issue and how we can stop some of these. First, I think we need to eliminate it from it getting into the wrong hands, from it getting into the hands of dealers. Most dealers have access to it at this point and are cutting it into the heroin, making it a pretty deadly substance. The DEA states that it's often stolen from hospitals and nursing homes, and once it's obtained, more and more black market facilities can be opened and can mimic the drug. I would like to show you an image. It was taken by the Atlanta Police Department in May of 2015. It was taken at a Ponce Highlands apartment. It was a drug bust. Here, they found many stolen prescriptions, including fentanyl. They also, of course, found many evidence of dealing heroin that was cut with fentanyl. They also, unfortunately, found someone who had overdosed off the substances. So now we need to encourage the doctors in our city to make this illegal. We don't need to have these kind of prescriptions anymore because it does more harm than it does good. It can cause people to become, one, addicted to it, which also can lead them to go to heroin. And it also is getting into the wrong hands. It's getting into the hands of dealers who are using it to make a really deadly substance. So now let's try to visualize how, if we eliminate this prescription from our community, how this could maybe help save a few lives. So we know that heroin overdoses have been growing, especially since 2011. So we need to figure out how we can change this. And as I said, I think that eliminating it from our hospitals and our medical facilities can definitely make a big impact. We need to want to make a change, though, as a community. We need to take the prescriptions out so that we can lower that risk. We can then hope to find less patients turn to heroin after the prescriptions are run out. We can also hope to find a fewer dealers using it and cutting it into their heroin, or just prescribing it or dealing it out in general. Now that you can imagine how this might help us out and save a life, I must call you to action. We need to put an end to this. Doing nothing is going to not help at all. It's just going to allow more and more lives to slip through the fingers of our community. So let's do something. Help me encourage any medical profession you know, but let's all come together and help encourage our city to stop the use of this, make this illegal. Encourage your friends and family also, though, not to allow to be prescribed things and not to let others be prescribed things. We can continue to find more and more ways to stop addiction, and in the meantime, this is where we need to start, because this is what's causing immediate deaths. But as we speak of addiction, let me conclude with, pay attention to those around you. If you notice someone who might be struggling with addiction, especially when it comes to opiates, encourage them to seek help. And you can also just change the life of a friend just by communicating with them. I would like to conclude my speech, and thank you for listening.